All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show Saturday update is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for all those of you who are tuning in to us on various platforms, including listening to us live on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 on your dial. Now, the other cool thing is you can listen to us, which many of you are listening to us on WIGO1570.com. And for those of you who are listening to us on the TuneIn app, same thing. Go to TuneIn, it's a free app, put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, and voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. And we always want to remind you, if you are a YouTuber, subscribe. We're Real Talk Sports 7 on every media platform, so please subscribe to our channel. We need you. We are moving rapidly towards that fantastic number of 1,000 subscribers. We're now at 942, so we're just 58 subscribers away from getting to. Whoa, my camera went out. Praise the Lord. Actually, again, for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, I'm sorry, my camera somehow I must have hit something and my camera went off, but hopefully we'll be able to get back on. I'm going to show you guys something while we're waiting here. This went last night, and for those of you who are listening, you might hear the sounds. I'll put it up here. That's the sound of rain. As we were at Tara Stadium last night, it was a wild situation. As midway through the third quarter, we had a squall. It was just incredible how much rain we had suddenly out of nowhere. And to talk to you a little bit about that, I have my cameraman who was with me on the scene. I think he's in the green room. I see him. Jason, welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Jonathan. It's great to be here.
It was pretty crazy last night. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, it was a wild scene last night. We had lots of rain, and we had wind squalls, all kind of things going on. So appreciate you hanging in there while things were going crazy.
It was like going through two different seasons last night, because the first part of the game, it was hot and humid. It felt like 100 degrees on the sidelines, and and then you had the big winds come in about the third quarter, and everything was blowing around. They had to take the tents down on the football sidelines because the winds were affecting those so much. And then the rain came in, and it got cooler at that time, but the rain came in and it kept raining the whole time. And yeah, you know me, I'm down on the sidelines, but as soon as it starts to rain, I got to protect my equipment, my cameras. So I put them in the bag and headed up to the press box, and I was able to assist with the broadcast up in the press box. But we saw a really good game. We saw Jonesboro maybe start out a little bit slow. First game of the season or so, getting the offense going. But in the third quarter, that's when it kind of woke up. And boy, we saw a good special teams return, and then the offense started coming. So Jonesboro's looking good, and we are no worse for the weather today. So yeah, back here, and you never know what's going to happen at a high school game on a Friday night.
Oh, no doubt. It was real crazy. And like I said, again, apologies to those of you who are watching us where you're seeing just my avatar. Hopefully we'll be able to get the hopefully be able to get our screen back up here so you guys can see me. But I know you can hear us loud and clear on WIGO 1570, so that's the main thing. Well, Jason, it was, the opening week of the season for high school football. And of course, in Clayton County, they do something a little bit different. They have the rivalry games right out of the box. And our game was a big rivalry game. Final score of that game, for those of you who did not know, final score was Jonesboro 41 and Mount Zion 14. Now, you were down there on the field. What was kind of the big thing that you saw that really kind of kept Jonesboro, or I should say this way, kept Mount Zion from really getting to that game?
Yeah, so there was, a lot of intensity between the two teams, it being a rivalry game, and both teams came out, you could see their intensity. They came out hard. They were playing tough right away, and, kudos to Mount Zion early on, playing some good defense, stopping Jonesboro. I think Jonesboro was trying to get their offense kind of up and going first game of the season, but yeah, it was a good game. The sidelines were really packed. There was lots and lots of different cheerleaders from different elementary schools. So me trying to run up and down the sidelines with my camera, that was maybe a little bit of a challenge early on in the game or so, but it was a good atmosphere. Jonesboro had a lot of fans. One thing I do have to say about Jonesboro is that Mighty Marching Cardinals marching band, they're going to be performing at the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. And I think they must have had about 6 cameras on the band the entire time, because whenever I was down by that section, I was trying not to walk in front of a camera that was focusing on the band, because they were filming the band. But, it's just a great rivalry game and a good way to start the season. And you could just really see how big football is down on the South Side. So always great to be at a game like that and being able to watch it. So yeah, good first half of football down on the sidelines, seeing a lot of great plays taking place right in front of me. And for those of you who are watching the broadcast, I know we did cut to me quite a bit in the first half of the game. So I was down there. I was trying to swat gnats away and trying to get you good shots with the camera, and make sure we could get some good footage of those first 2 touchdown drives. So it was an incredible atmosphere, and it was great to be there last night.
Yeah, we look forward to, and we're just reminding you guys who do follow us, please go back to our Real Talk Sports page on YouTube. We will have some of those highlights up from the game, and also we'll have some highlights up from another game, rivalry game. And this one was very interesting, Jason. A team that we covered last year that could not seem to score was not the case this year. They actually scored the very first touchdown in the county. I'm talking about Forest Park. Even though they lost, they put up more points in that game than all 4 games that we actually broadcast them last year. They only scored a grand total of about 17 points last year, but Forest Park looks like they're pretty good.
Yeah, their program is a program and works, and you could tell that the last few years that they were building, and that they had a lot of young players on that team, and maybe the guys, needed a little bit more, playing time or so. But, that's exciting to see a score like that. It's great to see a program like Forest Park kind of back on the map in Clayton County. And I tell you what, I'm excited. I saw our next game this week is going to be Forest Park at Rockdale. So looking forward to seeing what Forest Park can bring next week after that. It was a loss, but it was a very close loss. So, yeah, it's going to be a great game next week. And I tell you what, football is just getting better and better down here.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, and a big shout out again to Forest Park and their folks over there to really trying to revitalize and re-energize that program. Forest Park, a lot of people don't know, ironically, Tara Stadium, where they used to play, is named after a former Forest Park legend in Hines Ward. Hines Ward went to Forest Park, was All-State there, and I think he also was a All-American selection. And of course, for those of you in the state of Georgia, he went on to play for the Georgia Bulldogs and then played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and won a Super Bowl with the Steelers. So yeah, Forest Park in the 80s was a team to be reckoned with. So we hope and pray that they can come on back. And Morrow High School, for those of you who are historians, Morrow High School, Jason, you may or may not know, they are the Clayton County team, the only Clayton County team to have ever won a state title. And
oh, really?
1988. Yep, the Morrow Mustangs, the only Clayton County high school to win a state title. And again, that was back in 1988.
Wow.
And a good friend of this show, Barry Brown, who still contributes to Morrow High School now as an alumni. They do some great stuff to, they have, I think, a luncheon for the kids once a month. But yeah, we're looking forward to some great football in Clayton County. One last score update here. Lovejoy also won big. They beat their arch rival Monday's Mill 42-3.
Now that comes as a little bit of a surprise to me because I know
Big
last
shock.
year we covered Bunny's Mill, and
Yep.
Bunny's Mill seemed like they had a really deep program, so they must have had maybe a lot of seniors graduating or so. They gave Jonesboro a tough game last year, so that's what I keep an eye on. Let's see if Bunny's Mill, maybe as they go through the season, if they have some younger players so they can develop and get back in that season. Of course, I'm looking at that Jonesboro Bunny's Mill game and hoping to see a good matchup there.
Yeah, so it's interesting. You look at, like you said, this Monday's Mill team. This was a team that last year went to the playoffs, a team that over the last 3 years have been trending, but some changes have been made. They lost a couple of key seniors, including their linebacker, who was an all-county pick. And also, they have a brand new coach. And anytime you have that much transition in a program, you can expect they might take their lumps and bumps early on. But hopefully, we'll see them get back to the Monday's Mill that everybody looks at and hopes to see throughout the rest of the season. Going around the rest of the county, guys, we have another game tonight, Jason. Another rivalry game. North Clayton will be playing Drew. I believe that game starts at 6 o'clock. And then also we have something very interesting. At Morrow High School, as you know, Jason, they have now moved to technically Ellenwood. And they play at Steel Road Field. And it is actually a brand spanking new, spectacular facility. And they're actually going to be hosting a neutral site game. It's called the Inner-City Classic. And Mays High School will be taking on Stevenson. And Stevenson, the team we covered last year a little bit. They went to the playoffs. They have a very strong team. But, yeah, for the first time, Clayton County will be hosting an inter-county game between Atlanta Public School Representative Mays and DeKalb County School Stevenson. Wow,
okay. That's so great for Clayton County to get on the map with those big games like that. And that sounds like another great matchup too. I think Mays might be playing in Corky Calladay. So it just shows these programs, they're just getting bigger and bigger down here.
Yeah, a lot going on. It is it's great to see. Clayton County had been under duress for quite a while. They had a problem with their accreditation, but that is over. And big shout out to the new superintendent, Dr. Smith. He is committed, Jason, to use a lot of the SPLOST money to help rebuild the schools. A lot of Clayton County schools are very, very old, and he has sunk millions of dollars into getting the schools back up to basics and back up to snuff. And you have some beautiful facilities. You saw last night, you were down the field, brand new track for Terra Stadium.
Yes, that track was really nice, and they keep that stadium up really well. I mean, I always like going to Terra Stadium just because I feel like I'm in the classic football stadium. I feel like you can walk back 50 years and you can be in Terra Stadium, and you can just feel the many, many Friday night lights taking place at Terra Stadium, and it's always great when you go there and you have an atmosphere like last night where the stadium was full, the fans were there, the band was playing loud, and this really shows the level of high school football you have in Clayton County. And I tell you, it was a good atmosphere. Great game last night.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, a little excitement towards the end as we had the storm rolling here. We had wind gusts up around 25 miles an hour. So was down there trying to hang tight, and we actually lost our roster. Our roster blew into the stands. So it definitely was one for the ages yesterday. But again, good stuff as we were able to play. And as you mentioned, Coca-Cola Classic, for those of you who like high school football, you're going to get all that you can think of tonight and today. That's right. Right now, even as we speak, games are going on because of the all-day high school football palooza. As in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they host a Coca-Cola Classic, 4 games. Jason, and you covered those before. Tell people a little bit about the excitement of going down to the stadium where the Falcons play and see all these top high school teams play.
Yeah, well, the excitement of the Corky Cal Classic, I think that I like is just seeing it through the player's eyes. Here you are, you're a football player, you're in high school, you're in 10th, 11th, 12th grade, maybe even 9th grade or so, and you're going down and you're playing in an NFL stadium. When you see these guys walk onto the field and they're just looking around wide-eyed up at the stands and just seeing where they're playing, and they look down at their feet and, I'm standing on the same field that the Falcons play on and NFL teams play on. It's just amazing. The environments are great, and you can see the fans. Even the bands are just really appreciative and enjoying it. And we usually see a lot of great games in the Corky Cal Classic. There's usually 1 or 2 that go right down to the wire. And when they go down to the wire, those are some of the best football games ever. You got the you can just feel the intensity and the energy from those games, and it's high school football just the right way. So usually Corky Cal, they have a lot of Gwinnett teams in there. I'm from Gwinnett County, so I know how big the programs are up there. But this year they seem to be bringing representation to a little bit more other districts. I'm seeing some other teams from around the state going into there. They're bringing in, so it's good to see. I mean, Gwinnett County is a big football powerhouse, but it's good to see them recognize that there's other really good teams around the state, and sometimes even bringing an out-of-state team. We saw Hoover, Alabama team a couple years ago in the Corky Cal Classic, and that was really special to see that program there. So high school football at its best, Corky Cal is a great way to do it. And some of those teams, on the sidelines, they're whispering, they're going, you know what? We could be back here for the championship game in December if we win the season out. And there's already that excitement going on with some of those football teams. So it's always a good atmosphere, high school football, start of the season. And Corky Cal is great. If you tune into, I think it's going to be the Peachtree TV is going to have the games
That's
on.
Right.
They start at 10 o'clock and there's 4 of them. And the last one's going to be done at 10 o'clock at night or so. I've been on the sidelines before, guys. I've done a 15-hour day. Yeah, it is long, but it is a lot of fun. So, but this time, going to be focused on just kind of watching some games today. We got a lot of great football on a day between the Falcons, Corky Cal Classic. It's August, but hey, it feels like fall when it comes to football season. Maybe not the weather, but football season is here.
No doubt. We're going to take a quick station break here, guys. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Update of the Real Talk Sports Show here with my cameraman and co-host, Jason Huntington. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. Hey sports fans, tune in for live high school football Friday, 7:30 p.m. on realtalksports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on realtalksports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at allenvigilford.net.
As we're back on more of the Real Talk Sports Show Saturday Update, I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and next to me is our camera guy. He's been with us for now, I think it's about 4 or 5 years, Jason, maybe a little bit more.
For sure,
Jason,
yes.
Yep, Jason on the field for us covering high school football, and also those of you know that he has been with me on multiple Super Bowls as well, covering events around the Super Bowl. So, Jason, good to have you back with us on the air, sir.
Great to be here. It really is.
Well, the other thing is that that is certainly making news, Jason. I know that you are a happy man about this. How about the Atlanta Falcons making a stunning series of moves? Mm-hmm. That's right. The Atlanta Falcons get my cousin, well, he's not really, my cousin, Judon and Simmons, and Matthew Judon from the New England Patriots. So in 1 week, the Falcons have now added a legitimate edge rusher and a ball hawking safety on the same par level as Jesse Bates, who we saw last year was an all-pro and was one of the best players in football. Jason, now what do you think about those moves the Falcons have made to add 2 guys finally on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I got my Falcons gear on today. They got that big game today, 12 o'clock in Baltimore. We may not see these guys playing in the game today since they just got signed or so, but Matthew Judon, you're talking about a 4-time Pro Bowler with the New England Patriots, and this guy's right up there with some of the top number of sacks. They're comparing him to a Nick Bosa. They're comparing him right up there at the top. Now, he is coming off of a season-ending biceps injury last season, so he didn't play a whole lot of football, but they're saying that he's healthy and he's going to be good to go. So you think about what that's going to look like when you put him in your defense and what he can do. He's bringing a lot of experience. He's in his 30s, so he is an older player, but he's also got a lot of experience. He's played with a lot of great New England Patriots defenses, so I think he's going to be the right piece. I know people are saying, well, his age, he might be a little kind of old or so, but you think of like John Abraham, when he was on our defense in 2012. He was also an older player, but he really made a difference. So plugging in a veteran player like that could be what our defense needs. We have some younger guys on the team that he will definitely, hopefully, be able to mentor a little bit, on that defensive front right there. And safety Simmons, another great move. I've seen that guy before on TV, and I've heard of him. I think he might have had an interception against Patrick Mahomes in that game against the Denver Broncos. I have to check my stats, guys. Don't get too excited about it, but he is a solid player for the Denver Broncos, and he's going to fill that position of safety. And you just kind of feel like now we've got a defense that's leveled out. We got a defense with some star players, and we got a defense that can get, something going. Last year, I thought the biggest surprise in a good way for the Falcons was how well that defense played last year.
Right.
And I was saying from the beginning of the season, that's a playoff caliber defense. If we could just have an offense to go along with it. And now we got Kirk Cousins in there, and this team is all go, I think.
Yeah, I think really you have to change all of the projections for this Falcons team. Everybody was talking about Falcons going to the playoffs and at least getting into that first round and possibly winning a first round home game, because obviously they should be an odds-on favorite to win the NFC South. But now, boys and girls, I'm feeling something different. I'm feeling Super Bowl vibe.
All right.
With the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, I look at this team, Jason. You have a team that offensively has got weapons everywhere. You talked about the trigger man, Kirk Cousins, but in that backfield, probably one of the best backfield rooms in the NFL, where you have two guys who both have rushed for 1,000 yards in the last 2 seasons. I'm talking about the former guy that broke the rookie record for the Falcons, Tyler Algiers, and then Bijan Robinson came right behind him and broke that record again. So both of these guys are studs. Everybody talks about Bijan Robinson being a generational player, but I tell everybody Tyler Algiers is probably the unsung hero of that team. Guy is a tough out. He can run in between the tackles, and he does have breakaway speed, as we saw when he had that long touchdown on a screen pass. And then, of course, let's take a look at your hands. You got Kyle Pitts coming back from injury. He looks like he's 100%. Everybody's looked at him during the offseason in the camp so far. He looks great. And then the guy who I think is going to have a breakout season, Drake London, he seems like he hasn't let one ball drop to the ground. One-hand catches, back shoulder fade catches. So that's the guy I look at, Jason, to have a huge season. I think that he has the potential to have a 1,200-yard season from the wide receiver position. And then, of course, the other ads that they made, guys they brought in to help out in that wide receiver room, I just think the Falcons are stacked and ready to go.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think right now, even though the season's not kicked off yet, I think right now I could say at minimum this team will win 9 games, and there's a ceiling for 11 and 12 quite easily. So you go 12 wins, you're going to be right there in that playoff hunt. And you look at the rest of the NFL, I'm looking at the Falcons schedule. I think it's really interesting. We start out with Pennsylvania teams right away. We got Pittsburgh, we got Philadelphia. Those are going to be some great games to tell us what kind of team we have going into the season. And the season is going to be tough. It's a tough schedule at the beginning. Towards the end, I think that's where we can pick up some momentum. So we may have to ride through the first part of it a little bit and then kind of see what team we have. But, you got a Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs coming in early on in the season. So it's going to be a good test to see what our team looks like and how they can play against those kind of teams. So, yeah, rise up. I see that in the comment right there. I really feel it. Yeah, rise up. And, we may have to ride it a little bit at the beginning of the season, but later in the season, there's some chances to pick up a lot of games, get a lot of momentum, and get a lot of wins. So that's going to be key for the Falcons, get those first 3 games in, see what kind of team we have, and then roll after that. And I've said before, I think the team that wins the division is the one who wins the most division games, and that's what the Falcons need to do. They need to focus on winning those divisional games. That's 6 wins right there. You can get those games, and that's going to put you right in a great position to win the division and be a playoff team.
No question. I mean, the operative thing is to do that. Big shout out to Rudy, is a new fan of our show, and he thinks our content's pretty good. So, Rudy, appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right. Yes, Rudy.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, you look at this Falcons team again. Like you said, they are a team that is stacked, and those first 4 games are going to tell a story. And if they can, in fact, at least be 500 through his first 4 games, I think that put them in a great position to win the division. Because here's the thing. If you go 4-2 in a division, that should win it for you.
Yes.
Because playing your rivals, New Orleans, to sweep them in the season is always tough. It doesn't matter what the record of either team is. It's a rivalry game, almost like the college level, the intensity of the games. And, of course, Tampa Bay, we can't dispatch the fact that this is a team that's been to the playoffs multiple years. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, but, hats off to what they did last year, not only winning the division, but knocking off an Eagles team who had just come from the Super Bowl. Now, granted, the Eagles were fading fast. I think they lost 6 of their last 7 games. But at the end of the day, hey, they made it work, and they got the win. So if they can at least split the 2 Tampa Bay and New Orleans games, and then, of course, sweep the Panthers, because I think they've still got some work to do, the Falcons should be in good position to win. And now, how many wins do you want to peg them for, Jason? What's your prediction on number of wins for the Falcons?
Yeah, so as you said, plenty of respect for the division. Baker Mayfield had an amazing season last year for the Buccaneers, so we're not going to look past those guys. They got a good team. They said they have everyone pretty much coming back from last year. The Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young is in year 2, so let's see what he can do. I think the Panthers are going to be improving in a lot of ways. And I feel like the Saints, so many injuries, Derek Carr being injured last season, I don't think we really had a chance to really see what the Saints can do. So I really feel like the Saints are going to be a better team this year. So putting all that together and looking at the schedule, going with win total, I want to go with a number that's an attainable number, kind of a safe number. So how about I go with 11? I'm going to go with 11-6 as a safe attainable number right here. I think early in the season is where we could see the most losses, but I think we're going to pick up momentum through there. So as a fan, I think we may have to ride through some losses early in the season. I'm not going to say what games are going to lose yet, but I think there's going to be some tough ones or so. But late in the season is when we pick up momentum. We win those divisional games. And as you know, the most important thing is to be hot going into the playoffs. Win those games, going into the playoffs, looking hot, looking good. And that's where you can go. It doesn't matter if you're a wild card team, if you're a division winner, if you are hot going into the playoffs, you win all those games, you can be in the Super Bowl because it's only about 2 or 3 wins. You need to get in the playoffs and you're in.
No doubt. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. Get to the playoffs. And if you win the division, the good thing is your first playoff game is at home.
That's
so,
right.
You got a situation where you're able to be at home and to be able to have your home fans. And I can assure you that Mercedes-Benz will be rocking if and when the Falcons get to the postseason, because we've not been there in 7 years. So there's no question in my mind that the Falcons are going to be a tough out next year. 11 games, that's kind of what I'm looking at, 11-6 overall. And here's the thing. Remember, guys, the last time that Atlanta went to the Super Bowl, we had kind of a similar situation. We had a very good offensive team. We had one superstar. He was a flash in the pan, Vic Beasley, who actually led the league in sacks, 16.5 sacks that year. We also had some help throughout the defense. So it looks like a similar situation, an explosive offensive team and a defensive team that's good enough to make the plays when they need to make. So our prediction, 11-6 for both of us. And if all the things go right, we could be watching the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Well, Jason, listen, man, thank you for joining us. We're getting ready to wrap it up here. How can people follow you on social media? You get some great stuff for us for highlights, but you do things all across the spectrum. How can people follow you, social media and/or website?
Don't really have a website. Social media, I guess, just mostly Facebook, my name. I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media. I have a Vimeo channel that I post a lot of stuff for Real Talk Sports on, and that's just pretty much my name. But most of my content goes straight to YouTube and to you right here. So, yeah, I'm available. But I might work on that a little bit more. But yeah, I know I'm excited about the Falcons this year. As I was gonna say one more thing, the team of this year reminds me as much of 2016 as I've seen in the years.
No doubt, no doubt. It's got that same feel, like you said, high-powered offense. A defense that is good enough to, again, make the plays when they need to make them, especially against better teams. And we'll find out because they're playing a bunch of playoff teams with obviously this defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago, and Dallas Cowboys, who are perennial winners but just can't seem to win in the playoffs. And that will also mean, and we don't want to forget the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that also has consistently been in the playoffs. And those teams have very rabid fan bases, and some of them are coming from Atlanta. So the Falcons have their work cut out for them. All right, everybody, listen, we're going to pack it up here. Appreciate all those of you for joining us. Remember what the minister always reminds you of. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know him today. He's the one that died for you, and he rose from the dead. If you believe in him, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now can go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for anything your needs or desires, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to a spectacular, wonderful, and beautiful place called heaven, and you avoid that nasty place called hell. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together again, you know how we do it. We simply say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long.
That's right. So long.